Happy Tuesday. I have been working on this toiletry set and the end is near. As you can see here, I have the rectangle box cut out. I have all the pieces together. I'm going to move this out of my way. What we have finished is the 7-inch tall one. That's semi-square. They call it almost round. That one is finished. The 4 3/4 version, 4 3/4 inch tall version of the same box is completed. The 7-inch tall round one is completed. And now we will work on the 4 3/4 inch tall round one. I went ahead last night and did the wet molding on these to give them that cupped shape to make it easier. I actually had put them inside the top of the 7-inch tall one to have something to hold them in place. Hi, Terry. Thank you. So I have this one already. Yesterday was a short stream because I found out my daughter was stranded in Denver, Colorado because her car is not safe to drive home. And I needed to address that stuff last night. So I didn't even stream 2 hours. But I sat here working things out with her and worked on that, getting that done, getting her situated. And this goes this way. So I'm going to start working on this one. Right sides go together so that when you're looking at it from the bottom, this is facing this, which is what I want. This will be inside this edge, so it won't be seen. And so the bottom of it will be nice and neat. Well, actually, it will be this way. It will be in here this way. So that will work. 2 of them, I put this piece in. I put this strip on backwards. I put it on the wrong way twice. Last piece, I got it correct the first time. I didn't have to take it out. That's one of the things about pinning it in place first. Comes in handy because it allows me to see what I'm doing. Yes, Terry, I got it right this time. I got it right on the last one too. I'm smart like that. And that should give me 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 holes in there. Yep. Put these little stitch savers on here. These stitch savers are a time saver. Because they make it where those holes line up so much easier. Because the spacing on my holes are consistent. So when you have the holes lined up like that, when you go to actually stitch it, it's easier. When you have the 2 on either side, it's easier to just do it and it goes right through. So it just makes it a lot easier on me or whoever's actually stitching it. This makes it easier for the person making something to, I mean, I can do it without them. I fought leather in the beginning. I did a lot of fighting with leather to sew things and keep it aligned. And as I've moved on, I want to do that less and less and just be more creative instead of fighting with leather. I want to work with the leather to make our beautiful items. Terry, I hope you had a good day today. Uneventful, either uneventful or exciting. Today for me was better than yesterday. Work that edge a little bit more. Slept most of the day. Oh, tell you what, after staying up as long as I did last night, I had trouble sleeping because my daughter is stranded. Um, and so it's kind of hard to keep your head straight and get some sleep when a family member is stranded and you know they are, and there's nothing you can do to get to them to help them at that moment. And that was leaving me feeling kind of defeated because I'm mom. I'm the one that solves the problems, and I couldn't just solve it yesterday, so that was really hard. Um, Lisa Lee of Two Lees in a Pod was extremely helpful yesterday. We got on a call and we were talking, and she's like, "Hey, these people in Florida that come down, they use these auto transport companies, and and maybe we should check into that." And she started looking, and lo and behold, she found a viable solution that was affordable. Not ideal because we had to spend money we weren't planning on spending, but it was still a viable option. It wasn't the over $2,000 that I first came up with by using U-Haul to get a truck and a auto transport and having my daughter drive it home. This is a professional company. That's what they do, is they transport cars from point A to point B. This was extremely cheaper than that, well less than half the price. So today is better than yesterday. And Lisa was extremely helpful with that. Robbie tried to help. He called around to see if he had anyone in the area that could help. And the people he knew that lived in the area, the Denver area, have actually moved. So that wasn't going to help us. The only other option we had, other help we had, was someone saying that they could get the car and move it to St. Louis, Missouri, but I would have to rent the auto transport they needed to move it. And by the time I rented the auto transport and got it to St. Louis and then had to pay for the truck to bring it to me still, it was not going to save me any money. It would have cost about the same, maybe a little bit more to do it that way. So that also became a non-option. I didn't have time to call absolutely everybody and say, "Hey, what about St. Louis? Do you have someone who can do it in St. Louis?" I really needed to get moving on this to get my daughter out of a hotel room and home, because keeping her and her friend in a hotel is not nice. It's not cheap. Her friend who is one of the people she went to the convention with, who actually hired her to go to the convention, has not left her side. He felt guilty about the situation for no reason of his own. He did nothing wrong to cause the situation. But he also wasn't leaving her stranded by herself. He's like, nah, you don't do that. I can't leave you by yourself. So he took some days off of work so he could stay with her and help her get through this process. He has been most helpful with that. He went ahead and canceled his airline ticket because he was supposed to fly out of Atlanta today. They were supposed to have been back today, and he was supposed to fly out of Atlanta midday today. And obviously, with them being stuck where they are, that wasn't an option. So, yeah. So, we're waiting to find out what time they're going to pick up the car. I got notification that they would be able to pick it up tomorrow and bring it on its 3-day journey back home, which is not normally a 3-day journey. It's just on the auto transport, it's going to take 3 days. And part of that is because those drivers can only drive a certain amount of time. In a day, they can't drive the full 20-something hours in one day. That breaks rules. And they're probably trying to pick up some other work along the way to maximize the profits on this trip, which I don't blame them. And you can see how easy these stitches are going in. And that's because of those stitch savers that I have in place, keeping all the holes in alignment. It makes it where I can just sew it, not have to find the other hole, find where the other piece is aligned. It's a little bit harder when I get to stitching in the zipper because I don't have any holes on this back side. So when I go to, I have to figure out where those holes are from this back side. I have to kind of look and see. It's like, all right, where's that hole? Where's that hole? Where's that hole? There it is. And then I find it that way. Not as easy with that fabric in the way, but I choose not to put holes in the zipper tape because if you put holes in the zipper tape, you're running the risk of causing it to fray. And I don't want to deal with that. So, yeah, Terry, I was at first when they set it up, when you apply to have the car picked up, it says, the date you put in may or may not be the day they can get there. We'll let you know when we can get there. And I talked to the guy and I'm like, my daughter is kind of stranded and every day I have to keep her in a hotel is cutting into a budget that we don't have to spend on this. And so he said, go ahead and put that thing in. And as soon as we can get someone that'll take the trip, we'll let you know. And so I did. And that was the next day they could take the trip. So that made me happy. Worst case is we decide to keep them in a hotel another night just so they can rest. Her friend already paid for one night in the hotel. I paid for one night in the hotel because they were staying in a B&B. There was a group of them that were staying in a B&B together to save money, but obviously they had moved out. Yeah, I was watching that earlier, Marcia. Isn't that great? And hi, Marcia. So, yeah, I got the notification that they could pick my daughter's car up tomorrow. I said yes. They charged my card. So now I have to see if they don't send me anything with a time frame. I'm probably going to tell her to stay in the hotel another night. That way, if they can't get there until later in the day, she's not sitting in a hotel lobby until 5 or 6 o'clock in the evening. She also can't book her ticket home if she doesn't know what time she's going to be available to leave. So we're just going to do the best we can. Again, it's not as bad as it could have been. I had someone, their suggestion was, well, just get the car fixed there. And it's like, oh, sure. Just drop $5,000 to get a new engine dropped in the car, because that's what every shop has quoted her in that area, that it would be a minimum of $5,000. I know you can get it a heck of a lot cheaper here. She also doesn't want to buy a brand new engine. She wants to get either a rebuild or just a used one from a wrecked vehicle, just because it's cheaper. So, yeah. Today is a lot easier than yesterday now that we got this stuff straightened. She had actually looked on her side to see if she could find something cheaper. She found one company that originally said yes, it was going to be about $100 cheaper, but then when it got to reality, they couldn't get anyone to take the job for the price they had quoted her. So we went with the company that Lisa helped me find yesterday. Actually, Lisa found it. She didn't help me find it. She found it. It was great. And now we have a car getting picked up, and my daughter will not be stranded anymore. She will be coming home soon, either tomorrow or the following day. Yeah, exactly, Marcia. They were quoting her $5,000 to put an engine in her car. If they would have said, we can do it now and it'll cost $2,000, I might have actually done that. But 5,000 made me choke a little bit. It's like, no, not doing it. And I've replaced an engine before. I know that's outrageous. And at home, she actually has someone who can help her put the motor in, so she doesn't have to pay the mechanic fees. We are a mechanically inclined family. We've done these things before. I could actually help her do it. I just don't have the equipment as far as the lift, the jack and everything for the motor to lift the old one out. It is a Hyundai Sonata hybrid. It's a 2015 Hyundai Sonata hybrid. And her friend here has found engines for $500. Keep looping my thread around these things. Seems like I would know by now to watch out for them. We're trying to do this in a manner that least impacts the rest of our lives. I'm hoping that all the funk is happening at the beginning of the year, and then we're going to be done with it, because I'm really over it. Something happening to all three of our cars in the first couple of months of the year, first 3 months of the year, we've had all three cars. Mine is in the shop getting the body work done from the guy's car that hit it. Jeff's car needs to go to the body shop after I get mine back to get his body work done. And then my daughter's car is what it is. We are going to try to find someone else to look at it before we sink money into buying a motor. to find out if that's really what is needed. Yeah. Yeah, you've gotten sick a few times at the beginning of this year too. Maybe all the sickness you're going to get has happened and now it's going to be all uphill. It's wait, what did we do? We didn't do anything wrong. Why are we having this year? When we asked for a do-over of 2020, this is not what we meant. And I was hoping to have packages. I have 3 packages on the way in that should have arrived and have not. I had to order me some more compression gloves because I have lost my pair of compression gloves in this house. And I figured I'd ordered some more when I needed extra pairs anyway, so that I have some, I can wash them. I'll leave a pair down here permanently, a pair or 2, but I wanted extras so that I could wash them and have a pair to wear while they were washing and drying, because those will probably just get washed by hand, which means they'll take longer to dry. But I have misplaced my pair of compression gloves, which stinks because my hands hurt. And it's one of those, it is what it is. I hate saying that, but yeah. Get my daughter back home, then I can call and make me an appointment. I've got to make a couple of appointments. I need to make one with the podiatrist about this thing that's under the skin. It almost feels like I stepped on a piece of glass or something and it embedded in my foot, and now it's trying to find its way out. I step certain ways and it just starts hurting really bad. And then I need to call the Emory Sports Medicine Clinic and get in with the hand doctor about my hands again, and tell them that telling me there's nothing wrong, I just need to wear this funky brace, is an unacceptable answer, because they've been hurting me for a year now. And I've let them rest. I've put stuff on them. I've put them in hot wax. I've done absolutely nothing for days, and they're not getting any better. And taking pain medicine every day for something that could probably be fixed is not an option either. I am not one that likes pain medicine, because most of the stuff that actually would kill the pain makes you loopy in the head, and I don't like that feeling. I am a control freak. I like to know that I'm in control. I like to feel like I'm in control. And when I'm taking pain medicine, I don't feel like I'm in control. So there's that. Now we are back to the beginning. And I know one of the things that's coming in is my new electric thread zapper. I splurged and ordered myself an electric thread zapper, which will make ending where I tie off threads and everything, it'll make it look neater. Because right now I use a lighter, which sometimes leaves a scorch mark. And using the electric will not leave that mark. It just makes it nice. It makes it a lot cleaner. A lot of times I can hide where I burn those threads, because like on this one, I'm putting it here, which is where this piece will cover it, so it won't show. But the whole point of burning those, and you press them down and it creates almost like a button, because the thread is a poly thread, so it melts and it creates like a little button that's bigger than the hole, so the stitches cannot come undone. Part 1 is ready for assembly. Nice bottom piece. And as I said, it was put in correctly, because this is what you will see when you look at it from the bottom. I think you can see the colorations in the leather on that pretty good. And then I will stitch these pieces together, which will be fun because I've already cupped this one. I actually have thread in it. I'm holding it in that cupped position because I wet molded it last night so that it would be ready for today. And I didn't do anything except punch the holes and cut out the rectangle one. And that's the last piece I have to make. Oh, really? Do we get our hour back? Or are we losing it? Which way does it go this time? Do we spring forward or do we spring backwards? I never can remember. With my luck, the way I've not been sleeping, it means spring forward and I lose an hour. Of course. I'm going to move these patterns, get my hand cream, put a little hand cream on my arthritis pain hand cream. Put that on these thumbs. It's supposed to soak in there. It helps some. It does not give me the pain relief I would like to have. But it's like right here. Right there. Where your thumb is connected. I can tell there's some inflammation in there. And that's where it hurts. So I put this stuff on 3-4 times a day. And because it's on both thumbs, I use one to rub it into the other one. So it's just on my thumbs. Get some thread out for this while that dries on my hands. Yeah, that's a Sunday. I hate that they do when they do it too, because it's like, ugh, lose an hour. And I got to work the next day. Measure around here. Extra. So there. Okay. It's 1, 2, 4. My scissors have been magnetized. I keep them up against a magnet. It magnetizes the scissors, but it makes it where I can find my pins and pick them up when I drop them. I do that actually intentionally. And what will your silly name be next, Terry? Hi, Phil. Good to see you. I hope you're doing well. Terry, you can't name yourself Phil. CPR is Phil. And if someone didn't hear my explanation of why I pierce my thread, it's so that I can lock my thread into my needles and not have to worry about it slipping out constantly. Yeah, you've got to get yourself, you've got to do the PT to get back in shape, get where you need to be. So I understand the hurting, but it was a good hurt because you're working on recovery and getting to a better self. Oh, there you are. Start there, so let's jump over here. There we go. Hi, Anne. Good to see you. My little stitch savers in here. Watch my packages not arrive until I get offline. I got new holders for the phone. I actually got a pair of them because my daughter gave me her old iPhone that she doesn't have service on. She doesn't use it anymore. It was a phone she was using for business, and she was working for a company, just so she could give it to the employees that reported to her instead of them calling her personal. Hi, Rosie. Good to see you. And so she gave me the phone, and she's like, here, you can use this as a camera. And for me, ideally, I can set up one of the phone holders where I am working now, and one either at the sewing machine or at my cutting table, depending on what I'm doing, and make it where I can easily switch cameras from one place to the other, depending on what I'm working on. So that I don't have to dismantle everything to move my whole setup. That's my ideal situation. So I got myself 2 new phone holders. I'm giving this current one to the youngest grandchild because they're going to be doing some streaming, doing artwork. And I got one for the older grandchild because he will be streaming some of his gaming stuff with their people. So like I said, today is a better day than yesterday. And Rosie, I know you were worried about my daughter. We've arranged for her car to get home. And after I know what time they're picking her up her car, we can make arrangements for her to get home. We have options already laid out. She's already been investigating, the methods of getting home, whether it be taking the train or airplane. But I mean, she is safe. Her friend did not leave her. He is still there with her. He refuses to leave her there stranded alone. He's actually been trying to help. He was going to try to borrow some money to help pay for getting her home, getting everything home, because he felt bad about it, because she did go to this convention to help him and his team. She was basically equivalent of a road manager. And so he felt bad, and he's like, I can't. They're friends, and he's like, hell no, I'm not going to leave you in a city you don't know with no one here that you know. I'm not doing it. So he called and actually took some PTO from work so that he could stay with her. He just told work that they had car issues that needed to be resolved before he could head out, and they gave him the PTO to take for that so he can manage. And it's like trying to figure out if he's going to, his ticket was, he was supposed to fly out of Atlanta because he was going to ride home with her back here and then fly out of here to go home. And his flight out of here was like under $70. But to get him flying out of Denver, the price jumps, especially because there's no leeway. It's like now it's over $400. And with him paying hotel room, and he's spending extra money because really he's feeding my daughter and everything else right now. He's probably not going to have the money to get home because he had to send money to his family who needed it to pay bills. They weren't even worried about his airline ticket. He told them that he was going to have to buy another airline ticket. And they're like, yeah, okay, but you have to send us this money because we need to pay the bills. We're not paying your portion of bills. Nice family. And then they're like, when do we need to pick you up from the airport? And he goes, you don't need to pick me up from the airport. I'm stranded, remember? Hi, Stacy. Good to see you. So, yeah, he's good. His family's not. We will make sure that he gets home, too, after he refused to leave and stayed with her and threw his credit card down to pay for the hotel room. There's no way I'm going to leave him stranded without a way home. But they will both be getting home. If they're not able to head home tomorrow, it'll be the following day. So she may be heading home on Thursday. And they'll pick up her car tomorrow, and it should be here on the 9th, whatever day the 9th is. Friday or Saturday, it is. Oops. So I'm making the short round box of my toiletry kit now. This is box number 4. I've done the almost round 7-inch box and the almost round 4 3/4-inch box. And I did the 7-inch round box. And now I'm working on the 4 3/4 round box. The rectangle one is everything, all the holes are punched, it's all cut out. I didn't set the zipper in it or anything like that. If I have time, I will do that. But I don't, I'm not stressing over it. Yesterday would have been my mother's birthday, and today is my sister's birthday. My sister who doesn't know how to use a telephone. The last time I actually spoke with my sister was when I called her. The time before that was when she needed money. So I informed the family that I know telephones work both ways, and when they figure that out, to let me know. So, yeah. Yesterday was my day from Hades. And with everything my daughter was dealing with, when she realized what yesterday was, she just started crying. Like, she's like, oh my gosh, I forgot what today was. And I was like, yeah, I was intentionally not saying anything because you're out of town and I didn't want to upset you. And then the car thing, and didn't want to add to it. Marcia, Rosie, I have come to terms with the fact that my family doesn't know how to use a telephone unless they need something. I've also come to terms with that means I don't have to answer the phone when I know they're calling because they need something. because I do pay attention. It's, oh, I need to come up with some money to do something. And then my phone starts ringing. Yeah, exactly. That's where I am, Marcia. And I have made myself a family. Actually, I have a couple of families now. Um, that I decided that family of choice was my better option for having a family. Um, my daughter's friend, they call him Hezzy. He calls me mom. I am his second mom. And there's a few other people that call me mom, but I have people who call me sister. I have people that call me aunt. I have a friend of mine, he calls me his sister from another mister. And yeah. And then I have my Get Swamp family. That's my other family. So, I just have made the family I wanted, because you don't have to be in the family you were born with. You can make your own family, the family you need. You can replace any of the family members that way too. You can absolutely build the family you want and family you need. Nothing wrong with that. That was what my uncle would say. My uncle lived with my grandmother. He passed away when he was 74. He was the child that wasn't supposed to live. He weighed approximately 2 pounds when he was born. Scales did not register that low. So he slept in a size 9 men's shoebox. That my grandfather cleared out took his church shoes. Hi, Tammy. He took his church shoes out of the shoebox, and they used the shoebox as my uncle's baby bed because he could pass through the rails of the regular baby bed, and it wasn't safe for him to sleep there. When he was born, the doctor sent him home and told my grandmother, love him while you can because he won't be with us long. And he lived 74 years. So if that's not long, I'd like to know what is. He mentally never fully developed. He was a early 7-month baby. The time of the year, the time of a pregnancy when children should not be born, is during the 7th month. There's some kind of development going on during the 7th month that makes it dangerous. But that's what I was always told. So, but he was born during the 7th month, weighed approximately 2 pounds because that's exactly what the doctor did. He went about 2 pounds. My grandmother said she could put him in her hand, and she said, I put his little butt here, put his little head up here, his little arms and legs would dangle, and I'd walk around and hold him and rock him like this. She would put a little box in her apron and just lay him in it and carry him around in her apron. Quarter the cloth diapers and then fold them up for him. She went to the store and bought a baby doll bottle because that's when baby doll bottles were actually glass, hollow, and had an actual nipple on them, a real baby bottle nipple, except smaller. She got that, put a little hole in it, and then she would extract her breast milk and put it in that little baby doll bottle and feed him that way. Strangest thing it's like the strange things that we do to make things work. And that's my grandmother would sit and tell me stories about that, and it was like, wow. Let me scroll up and read. I've been sewing and talking. Oh, Marcia, this actually is soothing to me. I work with computers for a living. I work with tech, and this is not. And so this actually is like my Zen moment. This is my calm down, cool down moments. And I enjoy it. And I enjoy the creating process. It's one of those things that makes me happy. Yeah, I can be your sassy aunt, I'm a bitchy aunt, or whatever you want to call me. Oh, that's nice, free spirit, that you had your family with you, that willing to call you, talk to you, or be with you. I had dinner with the four other people in this house. Um, I got happy birthdays from my Get Swamped people. um, yeah, no one in my bio family contacted me on either side of the family. Par for the course. It's been that way. My mother's side of the family, it's been that way since my grandmother passed. She was the glue of the family. And that was a fact. We all knew that. She was the glue of the family, that she held everything together. She was the reason why we had a gathering at Christmas. And when she passed, it was gone. Nobody ever took over that role. Nobody wanted to. Um, Everybody wanted to, but nobody wanted to. Everybody wanted to be the top dog in the family, the most important, because she was. But nobody wanted the responsibility that goes with that, which means you organize all family gatherings and you make sure that everybody does what they need to do, and you have the finances to do this, because my grandmother took care of the food, bought everything. She wouldn't let anyone, but she bought everything for Christmas dinners. And my mother and I helped make sure that everything was cooked. We couldn't even get people to show up to help cook Christmas dinner. So, how could we expect them to take on the responsibility of actually organizing a Christmas dinner? And most of them didn't know how to cook anyway. Thank you, Rosie, for trying to help build my algorithms, as Robbie says. I say algorithms, but what do I know? I did, Tammy, and I started looking at it, and then yesterday happened. And I don't know if you heard about what yesterday happened. I found out my daughter was stranded in Denver, had to work out getting her car home. So yeah, it's been a moment. I have someone. My mother used to send me a king cake for Christmas. I mean, for my birthday every year. And the year she passed, the birthday following when she passed, I made a comment about no king cake, and a friend of mine said that's unacceptable. And every year since then, she has sent me a king cake. She actually has it in her phone so that she never forgets, and she sends me my king cake every year. And even when times are hard, it's like, you don't have to do it. And she goes, yes, I do. You have to have a king cake for your birthday. I will manage. So it's kind of cool having people like that. That was good. I just dropped that. Put this back on here. Let me get this anchored in here. I was trying to scroll and do two things at once. Yeah, my daughter is still in Denver, as is her friend. Today I was able to arrange the auto transport. They are supposed to be picking up her car tomorrow. Dick, come on. But I've arranged for her car to come home, and as soon as we find out when they're picking it up, I can figure out when she's coming home. If they're picking it up early tomorrow, then she can get home. She can leave and head home tomorrow. If they're not picking it up until late in the day, I would rather her just stay another night, because otherwise she has to check out of the hotel by noon, and that puts her staying in a hotel lobby with all of her possessions until they get there. And that's just crazy. And her friend has been awesome, staying with her and not leaving her stranded alone. He will be remembered. The other friend was going to stay and they wouldn't let him. My daughter's kind of like me. She has more male friends than she does female friends. And she goes to these gamer conventions with these guys. They pay for everything and all, and they take care of her while she's there. They pay for the food, the board, and everything, and she basically manages them on the road, making sure that everybody eats and drinks and does what they're supposed to do. Let me see which hole it goes to. Is that the right one? 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. Nope, that is not your hole. One, 2, 3. There. It's harder to line these up around it when it's around the circle like this. But these stitch savers have definitely sped up my sewing process when they're in place. Sorry, I keep talking because I'm doing it. Let me see. Yeah, that's just not gonna happen. Um, I would not be sitting in my car all day waiting. Um, so I don't expect her to. It's the same thing with what airline I will let her fly on. I know there's lots of people who fly like Spirit and stuff like that without problems. We've heard too many horror stories, and she gets flight anxiety as it is. So we try to minimize that by putting her on a good one. Yeah, they sell these things for leather crafters. I'm sure you could do it for other things as well. And it's basically like a stick pin, and this piece locks onto it. And so you put it in the holes and it aligns things up, so when you go to stitch it, everything's in place. And I just make sure I'm putting it in the same hole all the way around, same number of holes between them. That way it has the holes aligned when I stitch it. And it makes the stitching easier because the holes are aligned. And so instead of fighting this, usually, you'd start stitching and you'd be flopping this around constantly and you'd be sticking it in and then you have to pull it up and get the hole on. And I'm not having to do that when I'm stitching with these in place. And these were gifted to me by Marcia O, and I deeply appreciate them. Now it's kind of hard to count the holes, so I'm hoping they lined up correctly. Come on. I'm going to crack a tooth on one of these things. Because these have in order for it to lock, these have a spring-loaded back end. You have to pull this out. You can't just stick this in the hole and expect it to lock in. It won't go in. You have to pull this spring back, then they go in and they lock in place. So it's a little bit fun trying to get those to lock in. One, two, 6. That should line up to that hole easily. Underneath that one's not lined up wrong. I have to figure it out. There. Yeah, I have a collection of hole punches. It's one of the things I have absolutely, and I've got a hole alignment off because this is not lining up on this back end. I don't think. Well, it might. Let me check. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. Nope. One of these is off. Let's see if I can pull this out from this side easier. Yep. Okay. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 5 and 5. Yep. Okay. Try this again. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay. That one goes to that one. This also helps help it keep its shape once I start stitching it. I won't be forcing that leather to go into a circle. I did not turn the overhead light on the camera. I need to do that because I'm having trouble seeing those holes. Pop this down, turn that on. That might make my life just a little bit easier. 6, 7. Definitely makes a difference turning that light on. Now it's not. Now it's lining up. It's not fighting me. One, two, three, 4, 5, 6. It's right there. I'm basically skipping 5 holes and then putting it in. I don't know that you can see, but I can actually see what I'm doing. Put that pin back. There we go. Whew. Actually, I'm going to do that one in the 5th hole. 1, 2, 3, 5. Because it's on this curve. Get that top curve piece. Then it'll get a little easier. I see you down that hole. I could not imagine someone with large hands trying to make this, because my hand barely can maneuver in here. And if someone had very large hands, yeah, this would be very difficult. Actually, I'm just going to do it on this end there. I love this leather. I thought I was using up almost, I thought I was down to the end of the hide, and I realized I have another hide of this. Makes me happy because this is one of my favorites to use. It's one of my not cheap ones. Turning what used to be a bedroom into a garage. I thought people did it the other way around. Most people convert their garage. I mean, that's exactly what I'm thinking about doing, is because my carport is so big outside, I can put 6 cars in front of my garage. So I'm thinking about closing in the garage and making it part of the house. And taking the carport, or the driveway that's 2 cars wide and 3 cars deep, and taking part of that and closing it in to make a new garage. Then I would have more space. I would actually take over the garage space as my workshop. Then I could convert the basement to be more like an apartment. because my grandson's talking about never leaving home. The oldest, Topher, is talking about never leaving me. I can convert the basement to more of an apartment for him, convert the garage, what is the current garage, into a workspace for me, which would mean less stairs for me to climb and deal with. And it would give me a lot of space, and I would have a storage room with it. So yeah, there's a lot of things to think about. And now let's sew this baby together. And once I get the holes punched on these boxes, they're not horrible to sew. I think I do them faster than what they said it would take for me to do them. And I don't know if that's because I'm not fighting the leather or what, or I'm just getting more efficient in what I do. I try to become more efficient every step of the way so I can get more done in less time. There is a bathroom down here in the basement. And there's another room that I can easily convert into a kitchenette. I might have to get some wiring done to make it where it can handle the stove, the electric stove. But I know my breaker box has enough room to upgrade the service and put in another breaker that would handle the stove. Another, make it where I can have the breakers to handle the stove. And originally, I was going to be converting it down here and putting a kitchenette in anyway, even if I was going to keep it as my sewing space. I was already doing that. That was just not a question. It was like, this is going to happen. I actually have an electric stove down here. It's just not hooked up. And I have, the house came with white stuff in the kitchen, white refrigerator and stove and microwave. My stove and refrigerator is black. Hi, Britta. I prefer mine because this stuff is normal, the normal size, like, a little bit over 5 foot tall refrigerator, has the little freezer on top, and then the regular refrigerator. And mine is a side-by-side with more space and an ice maker and an ice dispenser and water dispenser on the front of the door. So I wanted to keep my appliances. And I took the white refrigerator and stove and microwave and reverted that to be down here in the basement. And decided I could put that in the room down here that we named kitchenette. And no, the kitchen is more Jeff's domain than mine. He does more of the cooking, and I swore to him I would not turn my kitchen purple. Now, there's no guarantee that I will not get the paper, the stuff that you can cover the refrigerator and stove with to convert them to be, heat sensitive, heat resistant paint or whatever. I might make the downstairs one be purple. I don't know. It depends what we did make a decision on. If I'm going to keep my space down here, if I'm going to convert it to an apartment and let Topher live down here. But yeah, I just have to wire it for the stove, and then we bought a microwave to match, the black microwave to match. Originally, the house was supposed to come with a dishwasher. Right before closing, the dishwasher broke. So their agent called my agent and said, do you want them to replace it, or do you want them to hand you a check? And I'm like, just tell them to hand me a check, because I'll get what I want. I'll get a black one to match the rest of my appliances. And so that's what they did. Was after closing, they handed me a check, and the lawyer said something about it, and they said, oh, it's a housewarming gift. And then the lawyer shut up and left us alone. They weren't paying me off. It just would have delayed closing if they had not gotten the dishwasher taken care of, the stuff for the dishwasher taken care of. And they heard us talking about putting black appliances in, so they already knew that we didn't want the white appliances. I know, Jennifer, you would absolutely paint your house rainbow if you could, because you're the rainbow queen. Everything mine is purple. Everything of yours is rainbow. I swore that one day I was going to paint my house purple and black on the outside. Someone said it would look kind of gothic. I'm like, and if my neighbors piss me off enough, I might do that. Like, I'll show you. There's no HOA here. I can do what I want. Some of my neighbors are annoying. They want to try to control what you do in your space. And considering we do not have an HOA, nor will I ever sign up to be in an HOA, they can't do that. I had one of them make a comment about my friends cutting down a tree, that it was wrong that I didn't hire a service to cut down my tree. I'm like, not hiring someone to do something I can do myself. Yeah, I made a comment about painting the house purple and trim in black. Yeah, I actually want space for my crafting where I can actually close the door. You know, and where I sit right now, I cannot, because I'm in the big room of the basement. I mean, Topher's going to be the one. He'll probably stay with me most of his life, and support me. And that's where, it's a trade-off of, do I convert the basement to an apartment for him, or do I put a tiny home in my backyard? It's going to be one or the other. But either way I do it, the whole point is to make it where he has his independence, but he also has me there to help him if he needs anything. Because again, he does have autism, and he wants to become what he considers a productive member of society, meaning he can do what he needs to do to take care of himself. that he knows how to pay his bills, and he knows how to do his laundry and cook his own food and stuff like that. He wants to be able to do that and not be dependent on someone else to do it for him. And we work on that on a regular basis, on him learning the skills. I think I got boxes. It's coming. I hear a grandchild, so I think they're bringing me boxes. Do I have 3 packages? That's 1 package.
2 boxes in there.
I was supposed to get 3 packages.
Well,
this was 1 package. It must be on another truck then. They must have sent it out on 2 different trucks. They were from 2 different orders, so that doesn't surprise me. I was really hoping the thread snip would get in today. What did you do, Oliver?
I had to close the door because I had a glove on because I'm missing the chicken. When I went to go open it, it hit my toenail.
We'll go put a Band-Aid on it.
I don't recommend it. It's not good.
What did you kick? You kicked the door.
No, I more like pulled the door.
You opened the door onto your toe.
Yeah.
Ouch.
Yeah, I don't recommend that.
Yeah. Topher is more of the homebody. Oliver will be more of the one that wants to travel and see new things. And so that's why Oliver is not even considered staying with me forever. Oliver wants to go off and see what's out there in the world eventually. And that's okay. That's allowed. It doesn't mean that my grandchild doesn't love me, and I know that. Oliver will always have a bed to sleep in for visiting. But Topher, from an early age in his life, has told me that he will stay with me. As he puts it, I will stay with you when you're old and decrepit so that I can make sure you're taken care of. He does not consider me old and decrepit yet, but he wants me to make sure I help him become a responsible, knowledgeable adult so that he can take care of me proper when I get older. I think it's honorable that he wants to take care of me. He already would, he's like, I want to stay here and I'll work and then I'll start helping pay all the bills. Because he thinks I need a lot of help paying all the bills. And it's like, well, when 2 of the people move out, that's going to, and they take 3 of the dogs with them. That's going to cut my bills right there tremendously. I buy dog food every 2 weeks currently. And it's $100 and something every 2 weeks. So over $200 a month for the dogs to eat. Yeah, he does. He and I have had a connection since the day he was born. We always have. I have always been his calm when he would have a meltdown. I was always his calm. I was the one person that could just grab him and get him to calm down. And I think he knows that. There's something about the Mimi that calms him down. He knows that. Sometimes you will hear him. He will refer to me as Babushka. Oops, I got the thread thingy. That is because he games, and one of his people that he gamed with is from, I guess, Russia or somewhere over there. And I had gone to his room and said something to him, and the kid asked him who it was, and he said that was my grandmother. And the kid goes, "Ah, babushka." And Toph is like, "What?" And he goes, "Babushka." Babushka means grandmother. And so then he first did it as a ha ha. He's like, "Babushka, ha 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 ha." And I said, "Excuse me?" And he goes, "That's Russian for grandma." And it just stuck. He does it all the time. So even if we're shopping, if I hear someone yell babushka, I know it's my grandchild looking for me. I always wanted my daughter to be independent, um, to go off and raise her family and do her own thing so that I could do my own thing. um, Never felt that I needed to keep her close at hand, but have always been here for her. That's one of the comments she made, is that she will make sure that I'm always taken care of, regardless of where our relationship is at any given time, because we've had our ups and downs. She's like, she doesn't deny the fact that I don't have to have her in my house. I don't have to allow her here. I could have easily said, yes, the grandkids can stay, but you cannot. Um, or made her get rid of all the animals. She knows that could have happened, and I didn't do that to her. Her biological father would not have taken her in with her kids, because he's a jerk. Because he started his second family, and so she became less important. So she recognizes, what I do. And I appreciate that, for her to say that, yeah, I know I'm your kid, but I'm also an adult, and you didn't have to take me and my kids in. Kind of made me feel good for her to acknowledge that. And she knows that when crisis happens, she can call me. She's been through hell and back. And once she got her head in the right place, she was always welcome here. I keep catching the hammer. Is my problem today. But it'll be nice to get her back to the house. And she's so funny, because she's like, "I'm coming home and I don't think I'm ever going to leave the house again." And I said, "Oh, yes, you are." I must have pulled the end off another one of these. Yep, that one. Come on. There we go. When I wet the leather, sometimes it swells, because that's what leather does when you wet it. And it makes these holes fill in a little bit. Yeah, Jennifer, she's in school, and she is seeing the value of what she's learning. She's actually doing good in school. So, okay, Marcia. So, she'll finish school, and then she'll be able to move on with life and get a good job and get out on her own. Unless I hit the lottery. Well, she's still going to do those things, but if I hit the lottery, she's moving out. I told her I was going to go up to the neighbor and say, "Cash money." Here it is. Move out of my house. I want it. And just offering cash for the house, because the house next door is very similar to this one. It's about the same square footage. This one is a little bit bigger, but that one has the basement just like this one, so she could, have a lot of space for her and her kids and the dogs. And I would be right here, so Topher wouldn't feel like he's abandoning me. And, she wants to move out of Georgia. She doesn't want to stay here. And I told her if I bought the house next door, it would work out because she could use it. Then when she moves out, Topher could live in it. I can build, a walkway between the two properties, covered walkway. And he would be welcome to come over and see me anytime. And I think it would be cool to own two of the houses here. I would only want it where if they were next to each other. That's the only way. Which would double the size of the property. The house on one side of me, which is where the lady is with all those dogs, wouldn't be bad. She has more. I think the house is smaller, but the property is larger. But yeah, I would want to get one of them. Not sure which one. If I hit the lottery, of course, I could buy both of them. I have 3 houses here. And build covered walkways. Or I could connect the top floors of them and basically build enclosed bridges between the houses. And I know that sounds insane, but I'm okay here. I like it here. I got a thread wire there. I looped it around my roof. There we go. Try it again. There we go. I think I've now created some kind of weird knot in my thread. I have one needle crossing over the others where it shouldn't. And it's hard to see because it's black thread. This one needs to go under here. There we go. And then under there. Let's not knot our thread up. And then there we go. Put bonds. This thread. If I wasn't such a stickler, I would work with shorter threads. If I wasn't so mental about not wanting to have to piece my thread together in the middle. I would be like most people that use shorter threads and they just piece it along the way. They find it more functional. I, on the other hand, don't like having start and stop points all over the place. I like one beginning and one end. My hammerman, get out of my way. I try to actually pull the thread and lay it across my body off to the side. Just to avoid it getting knotted up. And if I do the stitches like I just did this one, it's less likely to loop around the item as well, where I make the needle come up. And instead of pulling it all the way, I just stick it right back in the other next hole. And I pull it, and then I'm in more control of the loose thread. It's all right in front of me. Everybody is so quiet. So quiet, people. Come on, talk to me. You know, I can talk about almost anything. And will. Oh, that's cool. I need to do something with all the stickers I have, because I have some really cool stickers that I haven't put anywhere because I want to find some place to put them that I can enjoy them. Because Kendra has sent me some cool stickers, and I have some other ones that I just acquired that are kind of cool. I just have to figure out what to do with them. Phil, I have not looked out at mine yet, but I know when it floods, it does not actually get in the yard, but the back 2/3 of the property will flood, and it will have water up to the wood line, and so it'll look like my woods are a swamp because there'll be water in it. I need to go out to the sewer line back there and redig my ditch. I need to get, I'm thinking about getting an 8 to 10 inch PVC pipe to lay across that access road, unless I can get a metal one, but make it where it drains better. That's part of what causes it to flood, is that the ditch that ran back to the creek is been run over with people's four-wheelers, which will be stopping and clogging it up. Tammy, you know what? I think that's what my problem is, because I have them and I put them in a bag and I just have them sitting there. I have my kit that I use for when I'm doing leather care, and I have a stack of stickers in it. Cool stickers. And it's like, I got them to put on the kit. And then it was like, but what if I put the stickers on here and then I find a better one to use, and then my stickers are on this one, and what why, it's my stickers will be stuck on this one and I can't use them on something else. Yeah, I'm terrible about it too. Thinking about maybe just I need to get a book to put them in instead. Create like a coffee table book of stickers. No, around here we fight over them. When I get a package in from Kendra, the kids are like, "Ooh, what kind of stickers you got? What you got? What you got? What kind of candy you got? What kind of sparkly stuff did she send you in this package?" Because they want to steal it from me. They will absolutely hijack my candy that Kendra sends when she sends it. They will hijack the stickers or any other little trinkets that she sends in there, because her and Lisa both send trinkets, extra trinkets, and if the kids are around when I'm opening my packages, they will absolutely snag my stuff. Check something real quick. I want to check the status of my 2 orders that should have arrived today that has my thread zap in it. I want to show off my thread zap. I send a message because it says there's a. I'm going to open this box real quick and see if it's actually a bag. It's not a box. No, this is only these 2. So there is another package somewhere because it says it was delivered. So I need to tell them to go look for another package. Let me see. I wish they would show me. Oh, wait, something just happened. I don't want a bubble. Yeah, there's never enough space. Never, ever enough space. Okay, there is another package at the door. Hi, Francis. How are you today? I am better today than I was yesterday. One day I will have. When my daughter and grandchildren had to move in, I had plans on what I was doing. One of the things I was doing in the big room that I'm in right now is around the perimeter was supposed to be shelves. I have the shelves. They're actual the grocery store shelves, so they hold like thousands of pounds. I have them. I have to sand them, paint them, and install them. But because my daughter and grandchildren had to move in last minute because someone cheated on her and told her a lie, that's another story. But it became almost an emergency situation that she had to come home and move back in with me. So I was not able to do those things that I had planned. See, my daughter was living up in Delaware and was very content because she loves living in the cold. And she was engaged to get married, and they were actually planning the wedding. And she found out he was cheating on her. Well, before she moved up there, he told her that if anything ever happened to their relationship, he had a second house that he would move her and the 2 kids into, and he would support her for 2 years so that she could figure out what she was going to do. Well, when he got busted cheating, He went back on his word for everything, and he didn't give her and the kids a place to stay, nor did he support her for 2 years. He doesn't talk to me because of that. He used to, but yeah, he doesn't talk to me. But we're working on finding better people for her to be around, better options for her life, better stability of her own. Well, that's cool. If she lived up there, I cannot remember the name of the town she lived in. But it wasn't too far off the interstate. Little place. She enjoyed it. The kids enjoyed it. Other than the fact that they weren't seeing me, they couldn't just pop over to my house from there. But we were working through it. You know, the plans of them coming and seeing me during summertime and stuff. We were working through all that, and then it didn't work out. So let me get the little one first, and then awesome. Thank you.
Yeah.
Oh, I just put that up there with my name all on it and hanging out. That wasn't smart. I might have to edit that part of the video. Don't you see my razor knife? Put that flap down because that has all my information. That box just for this one. It's got tape on it. Oh, there's my razor knife. Sitting here looking for it, and I put it out of the way so it wouldn't get lost. So this is an electric thread zapper. And I have no clue how to make this fit on there. Oh, there's a cap on here. Huh. That's what it is. I don't know if it has. Oh, it does have charge. Oh, man, that's easy. I don't know if you saw that. Let me see if I can bring it up here where you can actually see the thread. Yeah, turn it there. So if I go 1, 2, 3, cut the thread. And it has this so that tip is now enclosed, but it has air vents on it so it can cool off. It has an extra tip, which is nice, which means this box will go in my cabinet. It has this nifty little brush, so if I burn a lot of stuff and it gets stuff on it, I can clean this part off. We're going to see it. There's a wire here, and so they got this so you can just clean it off. And one of the parts I liked was it's rechargeable. So I don't have to deal with batteries. I hate dealing with batteries. Really, I do. So definitely need a longer one of these. Oh, it's a USB-C. Well, that makes it easy. Uses the same as my phone does. I wonder if my phone cord will charge it. I'll have to test that. I will put that over on the computer for now. I'm going to keep this up here. I'm going to take the box and the instructions, the information. I watched the video. That's how come I knew how easy it was to use. But I will put this in my cabinet with the rest of my tools so that I don't misplace it. I'm going to set it here so I can see it. Throw that box in the way so I take it up. And then the other thing I got today was I got some of these. It's clamp-on things for holding my phone. I got 2 of these. One for here. I'm going to replace the one I'm using. I got one for here and a second one to either use either at the sewing machine or at the cutting table, depending on what I'm working on. And that way I can flip which camera we're looking at instead of having to turn the camera off, tear down my entire setup, move it, turn it back on, use it, turn it off, move it, and yeah. So I did it trying to make the process better because my daughter had given me her phone that does not have service on it anymore, but it can be used as a camera. And so I can have it permanently set up here and then have the other one where I set it up as I need it. And use my regular phone on an as needed basis. It'd just be kind of cool. And then, like I said, I got one of the, just like I've got one that I'm giving to Topher because it'll better fit for his streaming games. The one I have now, I'm giving it to Oliver because Oliver's going to be doing drawing. And this one has more flex points, more flexibility so that he can alter it where he needs it to be when he's doing the drawing. And that way everybody can do their thing. I just have a house full of tech people. Yeah, I'm excited about. I had another thread zapper, but it was cheap and I can't get replacement tips for it. So, and you have to change out the batteries constantly. So I needed an upgrade. And so I have upgraded. Oh, my thumb hurts. In the hole. Yeah, I like having cool tools to do my work with. I can paint or dye, use a air sprayer to dye leather. I have what I need. I've got both a little one and a bigger one. I have a compressor and the airbrush and everything to do it. But I work mainly with leather that's already finished. So I don't need it right now, but I have it for when I do. And I had actually gotten that when I was doing projects on shoes because I have been known to strip and re-dye a pair of shoes. I've done that a few times. And dyeing using a sprayer to spray the dye creates a more even layer of dye on the leather than what it does to try to do it by hand with a sponge or something else. I actually have a tattoo gun that I need eventually to practice with. So I actually have 2 hobbies that I haven't been using. I want to learn how to tattoo leather. I will not tattoo people. I want to learn how to tattoo leather. because I think I can do some really cool designs that way. I could transfer a pattern to a piece of leather and then use leather dye to tattoo the leather to give it a unique look. Yeah, I will not tattoo people. That is not sticking holes in people's body is not my thing. If I'm sticking a hole in someone's body, it's with a knife and it's because my life depends on it. Life or death is the only reason why I would be sticking someone and putting holes in their body. And that, like I said, that would be with a true weapon. Um, I am not one to put holes in people's bodies. And as a side note, I don't want to have to poke anybody with anything, even in a life or death situation. That is not my style. I actually hold life in high regard, so I am not one to even consider that kind of action against another human. I had to put that caveat in there because I know someone would misuse my words, and I don't need that. Yeah, I've seen a thing where someone tattooed leather and it was different. I am not into tooling. I have the stuff. I've played with it a little bit. And it's like, yeah, no, that takes up too much time. I can't get my project done if I'm doing it. No, it's just not me. I'm not tooling. And you can do some beautiful tooling, and I've seen people do beautiful tooling, and it's just not me. Ouch. Focus thy finger. And my husband would love for me to become a proficient, a good, excellent tattoo artist. He has a phoenix he wants me to get him. So he wants a phoenix tattoo. On one arm, he has a dragon tattoo, and the primary colors of it are greens and blues with yellow and orange accents. And so he wants on the other arm to get a phoenix in the primary colors being the yellow, reds, and oranges with the blue and green accents. Yeah, that's just it. When it comes to that life or death situation for you and yours, there's no promises of what actions you would take. Most people would do whatever is necessary to protect theirs. Yeah, and I could probably tool if I really wanted to put the time and effort into it. But it's that want. I would rather be stitching than tooling. I know some people that do some excellent tooling. I've seen some beautiful things. Um, but this is my art. This is what I call my art, not the tooling part. I work with a lot of chrome tan leathers, and you don't tool chrome. Chrome tan leathers are not tooled. So, yeah. Okay, let me put a knot on this. I'm doing my regular surgeon's knot on it. Clip those down, and then I'm going to use, ouch, I just bit my lip. And I wasn't even telling a story. Let me see. Press that down. Oh, nice, neat. Move that over. And actually, what I would normally do is like this, which causes it to smash. And it's the inside, and this is for me, so I didn't do it as neat as I would do it for someone else. Creates that little button piece there. So now we have this done. I will put that cap back on because that actually protects that wire from getting broken when it just gets knocked over. I've done the bag of scraps, and when I calculated the price per square foot, it was like, nah, no. It wasn't financially feasible for the amount of stuff I do. I get as much as I can, spending as little as possible, so that I can keep prices as reasonable as possible. Get that first one in the hole, and then I can start lining up the rest of it. But I do know people that'll do that. They'll buy like Springfield Leather does a sample box. It's a mystery box of pieces and parts, and people will get them and see what they can make out of it. I've bought mystery bundles from them before, but I had some idea of what size the pieces were going to be. And anyone that has seen my crossbody bag that came in crocodile on it, that is one of them that was made from a mystery box from Springfield Leather. And I'm just trying to line these edges up some to get these holes as close to possible as possible. Here, Topher.
Oh, I didn't realize it came in.
Yep, all three of them came in.
Gotcha.
My 2 plus your 1.
Gotcha.
I need to make sure these are the same.
That would be the
Topher is popped down here.
magic trick. Hello, everyone.
Yep, they're the same.
Looks the same.
Yeah. So now Topher can start playing with his stuff, trying to set it up. There's probably instructions in there that tells you how to do it.
Yep. We'll figure it out. Oh, hiccups. I can't see Jack.
You can't see Jack, huh?
No, chat.
Oh, chat. Got a hi, Topher. Hi, Topher. Let me see. Can you see this chat any better?
No, I can't see his lights.
Oh, I jumped out of it. Let me put that back on.
Yep.
Live chat. Yep.
I can see this one way better.
Free Spirit and F Pate said hi.
Gotcha.
Yeah, he's coming up on 18 years
We got a while to go.
in May. A couple of months.
For a while though.
2 months from now, you'll be 18 years old. You need to think where we're going to eat dinner.
I already thought about it.
Where we're going to eat dinner.
Take a guess.
Fried tomato buffet.
Yes. How did you know?
He is fascinated by this place called Fried Tomato Buffet because it's like eating home cooking. And Stacy says hello as well.
Hello.
It's home cooking and he can eat as much as he wants. He loves corn. Their corn is wonderful. That child will eat a plate of nothing but corn. Last time we went, he ate like 2 plates of nothing but corn and macaroni and cheese. Oh, he just ran upstairs. Jennifer, I'll have to give him that message unless he gets on and sees himself. And he is a great kid. It's like we were talking about these things, and yeah, but he likes going to the Fried Tomato Buffet. And he usually is like, Mimi, do we have the money to go? Do we have the money to go to Fried Tomato Buffet? Well, one of the things is during the week, so Monday through Thursday, it's just $10 a person. All you can eat, home cooking. And they always have fried chicken on the buffet. There's some things they always have. They always have fried chicken. That's one of the things. Southern fried chicken is one of the meats they always have. And then each day of the week, they have something that's special that day. So one day it'll be meatloaf. And that's what they'll have. Fridays is fish and shrimp. They still have fried chicken, but they also have fish and shrimp. One day it's pork chops. And so they have each day of the week, they have a different meat they add to it. And then they also have specific sides and vegetables they add each day of the week. They have the standard stuff that's always there that you can count on. And then they have the specialty stuff. He likes to go there for the stuff they always have on the buffet because he has autism. He's a creature of habit. He knows he can go there. He is going to get corn. He is going to be able to get mashed potatoes, macaroni and cheese, fried chicken, salad. The desserts are a different story. Those vary, but there's usually always peach cobbler. And, that brings him joy to have that stability of those foods. And he loves going there. His mother is not as fond of going to a buffet. But for us, on your birthday, you pick where we eat or what we eat. Either we cook it here or we go get it. You pick. There we go. Now I got my bottom aligned, and that little fella's almost done. Look at that. I'm going to have to check the pattern for the almost square one. This piece did not loop like that, and I made it exactly according to the pattern, but this didn't have much of a loop to it. And so I've been pulling on it a little bit, trying to give it more of a loop there. This one's almost done. What time is it? 8 o'clock. I'll be able to definitely finish this one. I will be logging off right around 9 o'clock. I need to see what time Thule's is scheduled. Let me see. Let me see what time Thule's in a pod is scheduled, if they've set it up yet. But usually it's 9:30 or so. And it is set up for 9:45 tonight. So I will get off of here at 9 o'clock, and because I know a lot of the people that come here also go there. So that gives us time to get up, stretch our bones, get something to eat, get that snack, get a drink or whatever before they're live. Use the facilities. Yes, your ears were ringing. I was just talking smack about you. Hey, you should drop your link in here for people to make sure they know where you are and can find you. Hi, Lisa. Lisa, I don't know if you heard earlier. Thank you so much for yesterday. The first company, the one that gave the 825 estimate, is supposed to be picking up the car tomorrow. None of the other options worked out. Things like Robbie's friend moved away, stuff like that. But that company, my daughter even checked with companies, and that company still came in under the price of everybody else. So I made contact. I actually talked to the guy there today. And the way the contract reads is you contract them. They don't take any money up front. You contract them, and then they come back and tell you when is the earliest time they can pick it up. And you can either agree to it or not. If you agree to it, then they will charge your card and move forward. So you can decline the pickup at any time. So that's kind of cool that you're not obligated until you agree to that pickup time. That means they found a driver to take it. And so that's what I did today. That gave us where we could still look at other options. But when they said they could get it tomorrow, I told my daughter, I'm taking it. Done. And that's what we did. They haven't sent me anything on what time tomorrow, so I may tell her just to stay in the hotel another night. That way I don't have her sitting around in a hotel lobby. She's talking about taking the train. I need to check and make sure she'll be here for when the car arrives, though, because everything is in her name. But you've talking about knowing that people use those auto transport companies and being able to hook me up with them was what I needed. That fixed the problem. I had even gone to Facebook. I think Jennifer made comment about getting a auto transport place as well. Someone said, well, I think Amtrak moves cars too. Well, I did go to Amtrak and check. They only do a certain route. Denver, Colorado is nowhere near that route. So, yeah. So it was just nice that we were able to get that taken care of, start getting that moving. And being the smart child that she is, her and her friend went to Olive Garden for dinner because, the all-you-can-eat salad that comes with your meal. So they decided that tonight they would fill up on breadsticks and salad and take their main course back to the hotel for tomorrow. They consider that getting 2 meals in one, 2-in-1 meal options. Because my daughter can absolutely make a meal out of a salad, and she will absolutely do that. Well, she knows that I'm very aware that she's on limited funds right now. And she doesn't want him to spend all of every penny he's got either. She can be very conservative when the time goes for, and she, acknowledging the fact that he didn't have to stay there with her. I could have just said, sucks to be you, when it comes to her car. And none of that happened. So, yeah. So she's trying to be thoughtful of what other people are doing for her. Yeah. My daughter will go and get she'll go and get something like the tour of Italy, which is 3 different things. And she will pig out on salad and breadsticks and eat one of the 3 things out of her entree and then take the rest of it home. And that's more than enough for a lunch. Potentially even enough for another dinner. And just make some, go to the store and get a $1 loaf of French bread, make yourself some garlic bread, and you've got a second meal from it. She learned we used to do that kind of stuff. There were restaurants that would serve like way over a meal's worth of food when she was younger. The Applebee's we used to go to, when I haven't been to Applebee's in years. At this time, Applebee's was good. And they had this meal that had 2 chicken breasts on it. And they were big chicken breasts. I knew there was no way I could eat that by myself. So she and I would do that because it wouldn't be terribly costly. The 2 of us would just, let's go. And we would go eat at Applebee's. And that's what we would get. And we would split it. And then we would split a dessert. So 2 meals for 1, and they would kind of look at us funny. And it's like too much food for either one of us to eat. So she gotten that habit of, first of all, we don't wait. We try not to waste. So, you figure it out. Are you going to eat it? Either you're going to gorge yourself and make yourself eat it now, you're going to share it with somebody, or you're going to eat it tomorrow. Something like that. Because you don't just buy it and throw it away. And, my grandson, he just, if you take him to a restaurant, he feels it necessary to make sure he's getting your money's worth. So, like when we were down in Florida and we went to, wherever the heck it was, Lisa, we went to eat, Gabe made comment about it being steak night there. And Topher's like, okay. And, so we went to eat, and Topher just like, Gabe made a comment about few people could eat more steak than he did. Topher took that as an absolute challenge and made sure that he ate more than Gabe did. But he also, he's like, I have to eat at least 3 plates with steak in it in order to make sure that I eat enough money to pay for the meal. That's how his brain works. So I don't ever have to worry about him saying he wants to go to a buffet when he's not really hungry. But he did when Gabe said something about it. He's like, okay. And he was time back to back. And then Gabe was like, he didn't just eat a lot of steak. He ate full plates of food with that steak. So he was getting sides and vegetables with the steak. Gabe was mainly steak, and steak. Topher ate more food than Gabe. Gabe is not a big guy, though. Gabe is thin. Topher is not a big guy, but he's not that thin either. He's medium, I guess. But he did. It was so funny because Gabe making the comment about few people eat more steak than him. In Topher's brain, it was like Gabe said, "Hey, Topher, I bet you can't eat more steak than I can." That's what his brain equated it to. And he kept checking, how much did he eat? How many pieces of steak did he eat, Mimi? I'm like, I don't know, 3. He goes, okay, I've eaten 3. Let me go get another one. And he just kept doing it. It was funny. But that's one thing I know, that if I take him to a buffet, he's going to eat. If we go to Red Lobster, occasionally we will go to Red Lobster. The one here is pretty decent. And we will go on the all-you-can-eat shrimp night. And that child will make sure he has it mathed out. Well, if I were to get a regular plate, it would be worth 3 of these servings they give me. So if I eat 4 of these servings for the same money, then I've paid for the meal with how much I ate. I made it worth the money. That's how he sees it. But yeah, we go to the fried tomato buffet, and that child will eat. He's definitely getting my money's worth. If you eat one full meal there, you've gotten your money out of it, because during the week, like I said, it's only like $10 and something. That includes your drink. So you've got salad options, you have your meats, your sides, your vegetables, desserts, breads, soups, and drink for under $11. On the weekends, it's under $12. They add a little bit extra because on the weekends is when they would have the seafood or steak options. I think they do steak one night and seafood a night. And they give senior discounts too. So Jeff goes in and gets he's old enough to get his senior discount. So he gets his senior discount when we go. I'm not old enough yet. But one night we went and the lady gave it to me anyway. She thought I was old enough. I take a senior discount if they give it to me freely, even though I'm not old enough. But yeah, not yet. Not quite. Yay, this box is going to be finished before Lisa has her live. Then I will have all 4 of the boxes finished. I need to check on the status of the leather. I'm probably going to proceed with the rectangle box anyway on my own and have it partially done before Thursday's stream. And then I'll have the set done. I need to send the measurements to Lisa so she can figure out if she can do me a tray up. No, I've never eaten a 2-foot sub sandwich ever in my life. A foot long is pushing it. I don't even finish that. You can't tell it by my size, but I don't eat as much as people think I do. I've actually had to tell Oliver to quit giving me so much food because throwing food out. Because I don't have enough left over for another meal. God, only 2 more months and my grandbaby's. Wow. Yes, Jeff is old enough to get in trouble and young enough to still enjoy it, actually. I'm just glad the grandkids are old enough now where, because Jeff does not love being around small children. And it's a him thing. It's an annoyance factor, intolerability. He has no tolerance for it anymore. And so then the children got old enough where they don't aggravate him from being little kids. And so he can actually have conversation. And we've discovered that Oliver, while there's no blood involved, is almost like Jeff's mini-me. They laugh at the same stupid dad jokes. They watch the same kind of anime. They listen to the same music. Oliver is an old soul, evidently, born much later, because Oliver's choice in music is the old rock era that I grew up in. The kind of music that Lisa used to book into concert places all over the place. You know, that old 70s, 80s rock, old rock. That is Oliver's kind of music. And we buy the old band t-shirts when we can find them. Oliver wears them through town, and then people are like, I bet you don't even know a song by that band. And then Oliver starts rattling off songs. And they're like, oh. And I'm like, don't challenge the kid. They didn't get the shirt because it looked cute. They got the shirt because of the band. But Oliver likes going to places with Jeff driving, because the driver picks the music. That's the rule of the car. The driver picks the music. So even if Jeff is driving my car, he picks what station we listen to. So Oliver likes when Jeff is driving because of the music selection. I don't drive with heavy rock and stuff like that. I actually listen to more mild music when I'm driving. And that is solely because I pick up on the attitude of the music when I'm driving. And if I'm listening to hard rock or metal, I become very aggressive when I'm driving. This is something I figured out. And that's bad. So I don't listen to stuff that's going to make me become an aggressive driver. I listen to the milder stuff that keeps me chill when I'm driving. I can listen to that when Jeff's driving. I don't have to worry about me running over somebody. So yeah. When I said something about going down, Gabe gets aggressive when he listens to really hard music stuff. He becomes an aggressive driver. Huh. Interesting. Yeah, that's probably going to wind up being Oliver driving around listening to that stuff like Lily does. Lily listens to the more aggressive music when driving without a problem. Yeah. I feel it. I feel what Gabe's, yeah. I've listened to that heavy music like that and look down and be going 90 miles an hour. And I don't mean in a joking way. Yeah, going 90 miles. No, I was clocking 90 miles an hour going between North Carolina and South Carolina one night. I got off work. It was on a Friday. I got off work and I was going to see Jeff. And I looked down and I was going 90 miles an hour. And so I pulled over, changed the station, smoked a cigarette, and tried again. And yeah, didn't get so aggressive in my driving. It was like, no, we can't have this. Last thing I need to do is get pulled over. Yeah. There we go. Almost finished. I have to go from here to here. That's it. I prefer not to drive when I'm angry. But at the same time, if I'm really angry, I don't want anyone else driving. Because I'm a control freak and it gets worse when I'm angry. The angrier I get, the more in control I want to be. My finger is hurting me from pulling threads. I have a scar on this finger. You can't really see it, but I have a scar on it where my sister threw a window scraper at me when I was a kid. And when I pull my threads, I wind up pulling it across the scar and it irritates it. It just hurts. It's uncomfortable, I should say. It's not like, ow, 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 pain, pain. It's like, I shouldn't do that. That's aggravating the scar. I have two scars from her. I have one across my knuckle here where she smacked me with a spatula because I stole a French fry when she was cooking. And the other one was when she threw the window scraper at me because I made her mad. We had painted the windows in the house and she was scraping the paint off the glass with a razor window scraper. And I said something to her. I was outside and she just hummed it straight at my face. And I put my hand up to stop it from hitting me in the face, and it took a chunk out the back of my finger. Because my sister loved me. Now, Jennifer, most of that was outside of North Carolina. After you get on 85 and you just cross the border and you got that nice long stretch. That's where I was going 90 miles an hour. I did that going down to Mississippi one time too when my mom was having when she was having open heart surgery. I left with plenty of time to get there before she would go into surgery. But the closer I got, the more eager I got. We stopped in Mobile to get something to eat before we changed and got on I-10, Interstate 10. We stopped at the Huddle House because that was like our routine in northern Mobile. We stopped at the Huddle House and got us something to eat and got me some coffee because I need coffee to travel. And then when we got back on the interstate, there's this bridge, very flat, long bridge. And I was on that and my cousin called me and I started talking to her and she asked me how fast I was going and I told her, I looked down and I was like, oh crap, I got to slow down. Because I like I like going fast. I actually have to pay attention when I'm driving because I'm a speedy demon. Usually don't go much over 90 though. Pull those threads snug. So be this around. So this is another one. The only thing I have to do now is finish off my bottom of this one. And I'll get wax. I can see the wax on there. Even though this isn't my overly waxy thread. I can still see here where when I tied that knot, the extra wax just pulls in there. That's okay. It'll melt when I zap it. And eventually this will wind up getting marked up from me doing this, and that's okay. It's my tool. I can do what I want. I'm going to do that so I can push that melted piece flat before it hardens up again. I got a little lump there. I need to cut it off. I notice that this is not level, so I'm going to try to shave this down just a little bit. Almost as if I was wood carving, wood shaving, whittling, depending on where you come from. Yeah, it looks pretty level. There. And then I will get my little Dugamaflacher out. I use technical terms for everything. This is a Dugamaflacher. Yes, Lisa? Say something. Oh, sorry. I know you hate dead space. See, when I'm focused on stuff like this, I need someone to come on here with me and entertain while I focus. I catch out of my peripheral vision that someone says something in chat. But when I'm looking at this, I can't look at chat. Getting that somewhat, I'm not getting it as smooth as I would on a, if I was doing it for someone else, I would make it. Oh, no, that was my little grinder Dugama-Fletcher thingy. It's like a Dremel. Yeah, that's what it is. It's a Dremel. I was doing that to smooth out this. If I was doing it as a commission, I would actually get out different levels of sandpaper, and I would sand that until it was like glass. A lot smoother. But it's for me, and so I don't need it that slick. And Flutter has been rock picking today. I need to clean this out tonight. Put a little bit of paint in there, and I'll use some of the paint for the edges on the last piece I got to put together. I put an extra one. I thought I put one over here for this. I love these disposable makeup brushes. Absolutely love them. Yeah, it's a little Dremel thing, and it sands down the leather. Because if you're off even by a millimeter, it's going to show on the bottom. And I didn't go get me paper towels today. I forgot to get me extra paper towels. So I have one. I keep paper. I got to get another roll of paper towels down here. I'll do that when I take my break between my stream and Lisa's stream. The two Lees in a pod stream. It's Lisa and Kendra. Going on tonight at 9:45. If my edges don't have much to them, I have used Sharpies to color the edges. The formula of the Sharpie ink, from what I was told, is very close to leather dye. People have tested it. It has not caused damage. They did long-term testing of putting Sharpie on leather and seeing if it would damage it over time. It has not. I have used it on my own leather. But when I have a big edge like this, I would prefer to not use a Sharpie. But I absolutely use Sharpie for touch-up on scratches on leather as well. And if you can get a Sharpie in the color you need, you can just, mark right over it, cover it up. Nothing wrong with that. The leather gods will not come down on you and tell you you're finishing your leather the wrong way by using a Sharpie on it. Promise. Leather crafting gods don't care if you use Sharpie or not. Take this and set it aside. Let this dry for a second, and then I will finish off these edges. I am using Tokenol. This one's starting to get thick, so I'm probably going to swap it out. I'm going to clean it out and put some in here because I have a big container of Tokenol, and I just don't want to have to manhandle a jar that's 4 times this size. I'll just pour some out. It is a burnishing compound. It helps slick the edges. And any loose fibers, it helps glue them down. It is made for doing what I'm going to be doing with it, which is finishing edges. There is a humanoid coming down here with food. Perfect timing, because can I have some blue cheese?
Yeah.
My grandchild made chicken tenders and French fries and broccoli. Which I will be eating shortly, but I'm going to be finishing this first. And for burnishing the edge, that's all I'm doing is I'm putting a little pressure on it and using this wood back and forth, and it pushes the fibers down and smooths it out. So you can see I've burnished it here, but not here. You can see this looks rougher than this. And so it's just finishing the edges. Eventually, there's one you can use that actually heats the leather and makes the edges really look good. I just can't justify the expense of it right now. Especially not getting my daughter's car. That's kind of money I think the good one, the good unit with all the tips on it is $400 or $500. So I'm doing this. It's mashing those fibers down and together. And I do it around this way. I did it when the paint was still wet, so now I have wet paint on here. Wet paint and Tokenol. I'll clean this up later. But then I'll also do this way. Smooth out this edge. And rub off any extra paint and Tokenol that's there. I'm thankful that I have a grandchild that likes to cook. Hi, Flutter. Did you catch any awesome rocks? Catch, yes. Did you catch rocks today? There we go. And now, box number 4 is finished. Need to wipe that top off. Oh, you needed it back.
Well,
Sorry. Oliver's giving me a hard time. Sorry. So I need to throw some conditioner on here. Just a little bit. I don't know why I zipped that up, and I know I need my hand to get pressure. To do that, I can help. It helps get anything off of here that doesn't belong on here, but also conditions the leather. Leather that has been cleaned and conditioned lasts longer. Conditioner stops it from cracking and splitting. That is cool, Flutter. And see here where these lids bend back, right here. These are stress points that are prone to cracking. So I make sure that I'm conditioning that so that when this is flexing, it has that conditioner in there to make it where it bends instead of cracks. And if I notice any wear on it, I might come in and put conditioner on this side as well, on the inside. Normally, I would not do that. But I will if I notice any wear and tear on it. So now we have 4 pieces completed. I got patterns that keep falling on me. Marking pins, special marking pins. So now I have round short one and round tall one. You can see the height difference. But they're both, this one is a little bit bigger around than this one. Not much, just a little bit. I think it's like a 1/4 of an inch or something. But I have this pair. And again, on these, on the tall ones, the zipper pull when closed is to the right. If you put this part away from you, the zipper pulls on the right. On the short ones, I put it to the left. There's no rhyme or reason for it. It's just because that's the way I did it. But yeah, I got both of these. I like the way the rainbow zipper gives them different looks. But because it's the same rainbow zipper, it still gives them that continuity. And then I have the 7-inch that they call almost round, which is not quite square. I have the 7-inch. And I have the 4 3/4 inch as well. These actually are the same size. Well, no, they're slightly different off too. Huh? These are also slightly different in size. Interesting. Originally, I thought they were the same. But you can see that they're not quite half height. You know, they're about, I guess, 3/4 height. Buff them out when I get them done. And this one's the same way. When closed, the zipper pulls to the right. This one's to the left. They have that same style zipper. It looks different on each piece because of the beginning and ends of it, where colorations is, but it's the same. So now I have those pieces. So I have 4 pieces to work with so far. And while I'm watching 2 Leaves in a Pod tonight, let me move these out of the way. While watching 2 Leaves in a Pod tonight, starting at 9:45, what I'm going to be doing is I have these pieces that I've already cut out and put the holes in. but I have not done any of my edge work on them. So I will put that black paint around these edges, not the bottom, because I have to finish that anyway. This one actually has a handle. I'm debating if I want to wrap a piece of leather around it this way to thicken that handle up a little bit. I'll think about it and might do it. If so, then there'll be a piece of this leather wrapped around it with it being stitched under here, just to give it a little something something. And this one is the bottom. And so I will wet this. I will wet this and fold up these edges to make it into a little tray-like thing. And this, the handle will get stitched onto this first. There's holes in there. And then this will get stitched onto this piece, little handle on top. And then I will start the construction of this being sewn onto this, just like we did the other. It'll be exactly the same technique as the other ones, except this one is a rectangle instead of an almost square or round. So that's what I'm going to be working on tonight while at Two Leaves in a Pod. I appreciate everybody coming here. I hope you will go over to Two Leaves in a Pod. Tonight at 9:45. They're also on Thursdays around 9:40, somewhere between 9:45, 10:15, somewhere around there. Thursdays is when they do their sales of gems, crystals, rocks, pretties. Sometimes it is also resin things that are being made. Lisa of Two Leaves in a Pod makes some amazing some amazing resin works. I'm going to see if she can make a tray to go with these, so that if anyone buys a set from me, they can get a tray from her that'll be the right size to fit all these pieces in. We're going to see if we can work something out with that. Flutter Yo has a channel as well. Flutter does a lot of fishing. Did ice fishing this winter, and we'll be doing some other fishing when the weather's nice on the side of the rivers or reservoirs, rivers, lakes, whatever. Flutter also goes hunting for rocks in the area, and I'm waiting for my bag of Ooper lights to show up that I bought from Flutter. I saw that they have been shipped. I'm so excited. Flutter, make sure you drop your link as well. On Wednesday and Sunday at 7:15, and on Friday at 5:15, Rosie's Random Treasures is on. Currently, it's mainly chat channel or people sitting together and doing crafts, their own crafts. Not a craft teaching channel, but just doing your own crafts. Rosie will be sitting there crocheting. I'll be sitting there doing my leather work. And a lot of social time there. And Stacy Aurora also has a channel and goes on live. She went on live last night. She does some sales. Her husband does 3D printing and makes some really amazing things. I have something coming. And she also sells some crystals and stuff like that, and vintage jewelry and stuff like that. So make sure you stop and see her as well. And I think I covered everybody. Is there anyone else here that has a channel that streams? But Get Swamped is on Friday nights around between 7 and 7:30. Get Swamped is a good one to go to, especially if you love animals. Robbie and his son Zoltan, we call him Z or Z Dog. They live it every day. They have an animal sanctuary that's their backyard. They do animal e-gator rescues or nuisance gator removals in the area where they live. He tries not to have to destroy the gators. He actually saves them and puts them in a safe place, depending on their size. He also has other animals that he has acquired, rescued, or whatever. However he gets them, trades for them. He has some beautiful lemurs He has birds and tortoises and turtles, crocodiles, a couple of different kinds of crocodiles. But it's a great channel to watch if you love animals. He does have reptiles as well. And he will do educational videos where you start watching him and he's telling you about that animal. And he'll tell you about little facts about that animal so you can learn, which is kind of cool. I have Rosie's link. I'm actually pulling it up right now. I mean, not Rosie's, Robbie's. Yep, that's the guy. There's my streamer thing. Get swamped right there. And Robbie also does sales at, on Friday night after he does his chit-chatting. And he does larger scale with crystals and gems and stuff like that. So you know that that's there. So I had mentioned Stacy's channel, so I will drop that link in here as well. And Rosie's Random Treasure. And Flutter posted her link, and I got my link. And Two Leaves in the Pod's link was posted. So there we are. That's everybody. So now's the time to run off. Get yourself a snack or something to eat. Get yourself a drink. Go use the facilities. Stretch your bones. Whatever you need to do. And I will see you all in about an hour on Two Leaves in a Pod. I will be in the chat. Thank you again for hanging out with me today. I will be back on Thursday at approximately 5:45. I will be finishing up this and praying that my blue leather came in so I can get back on my Garrison caps. You all have a wonderful evening. Have a wonderful day tomorrow. I will only be on Rosie's channel tomorrow in her chat. I will not stream tomorrow. So I will see you back here Thursday. Thank you, everyone. Bye for now.